Buddy. Sure does.
The book of the Revelation of Jesus. The author of this book, which is not called Revelations, by the way, is named at the beginning. It was written by John, which could refer to the beloved disciple who wrote the Gospel and the letters of John, or it could be a different John, a Messianic Jewish prophet who traveled about and taught in the early church. Whichever John it was, he makes clear in the opening paragraph what kind of book he is written. He calls it, first of all, a revelation, or apocalypse. The Greek word is apokalypsis, and it refers to a type of literature very familiar to John's readers from the Hebrew Scriptures and from other popular Jewish texts. Apocalypses recounted a prophet's symbolic dreams and visions that revealed God's heavenly perspective on history and current events so that the present could be viewed in light of history's final outcome. And John says this apocalypse is a prophecy, which means it's a word from God spoken through a prophet to God's people, usually to warn or comfort them in a time of crisis. By calling this book a prophecy, John's saying that it stands in the tradition of the biblical prophets and is bringing their message to a climax. And this apocalyptic prophecy was sent to real people that John knew. The book opens and closes as a circular letter that was sent to 7 churches in the ancient Roman province of Asia. Now, 7 is a meaningful number for John. It's a symbol of completeness based on the 7-day Sabbath cycle in the Old Testament. And John has woven 7s into every single part of this book. Now, with this opening, John has given us clear guidance about how he wants us to understand this book. Jewish apocalypses communicated through symbolic imagery and numbers. It is not a secret predictive code about the timing of the end of the world.
Into your lip? Nothing. But why are you zoomed into my lips? Trying to kiss me and shit on your camera, fucking gooner?
World. Rather, John is constantly using these symbols that are drawn from the Old Testament, and he expects his readers to go discover what the symbols mean by looking up the text he's alluding to. Also, the fact that it's a letter means that John is actually addressing the situation of these first century churches. And so while this book has much to say to Christians of later generations, the book's meaning must first be anchored in the historical context of John's time, place, and audience. Which brings us into the book's first section, Jesus' message to the 7 churches. John was exiled on the island of Patmos, and he saw a vision of the risen Jesus exalted as King of the world. And he was standing among 7 burning lights. And John's told this is a symbol of the 7 churches in Asia Minor that's been adapted from the book of the prophet Zechariah. And Jesus starts addressing the specific problems that face each church. Some were apathetic due to wealth and affluence. Others were morally compromised. Their people were still eating ritual meals and sleeping around in pagan temples. But others among the churches remained faithful to Jesus, and they were suffering harassment and even violent persecution. And Jesus warns that things are going to get worse. A tribulation is upon the churches that will force them to choose between compromise or faithfulness. By John's day, the murder of Christians by the Roman Emperor Nero was past, and the persecution of Christians by Emperor Domitian was likely underway. And so the temptation was to deny Jesus, either to avoid persecution or simply to join the spirit of the Roman age. And Jesus calls them to faithfulness so that they can overcome, or literally conquer. And Jesus promises a reward for everyone in these churches who does conquer. Each reward...
I have always said, remember about the Crusades? That it doesn't make sense for a Christian-based belief system to want to go out and kill. Like, something seems corrupt and not right. Doesn't seem very Christ-like. I've said that since I was a child. Something seems like not according to the biblical agenda. Interesting.
Is drawn directly from the book's final vision about the marriage of heaven and earth. And so this opening section, it sets up the main plot tension that will drive the storyline in this book. Will Jesus' people endure? Will they inherit the new world that God has in store? And why is faithfulness to Jesus described as conquering? The rest of the book is John's answer. After this, John has a vision of God's heavenly throne room.
Thank
He
you.
describes it with imagery drawn from many Old Testament prophets. Surrounding God are creatures and elders that represent all creation and human nations, and they're giving honor and allegiance to the one true Creator God who is holy, holy, holy. In God's hand is a scroll that's closed up with 7 wax seals. It symbolizes the message of the Old Testament prophets and the sealed scroll of Daniel's.
Oh.
I can't stop listening to it.
Oh no, she's under the curse.
Oh no, the curse. Jacob gave me this.
What? Why did he give you this?
Because I'm committing to this.
Oh no, don't let them get you.
I'm just kidding.
His satanic temple card.
Show it to Chappie. You gotta hold his name. That's why you keep. You probably know this.
Oh man, I really do have to do an IQ test before I hire all these sheep.
Well,
Maybe I should fire all of you.
Jacob said he just donated to them, and then they gave him this.
Oh, he donated? Why did he donate to them?
Something about abortions.
What? Something about what? What do you mean something? I need details.
I just asked him right now. He was like, I don't know. They were setting up abortions, so I gave him money to help, and then they sent me this.
Money to help do what with abortions?
To fund them.
Oh, he's funding the sacrifices.
Mm-hmm.
Typical. Funding the sacrifices and cloning material. You know, they harvest those
Why
fetuses
are you looking
to
at the
use.
Book of Revelation summary?
Because of y'all heathens in my house, okay? I gotta get y'all bad juju off of my desk. Alright?
You know, I'm a Satanist. I have crosses protecting my house.
Are they upside down crosses, Angelica?
No, but I did find one in my house.
That means
already there.
What do you mean, find one in your house already there? That means...
I found it on the top of a shelf in a closet. It was just there when I moved in.
An upside down one.
No, it was laying down.
It's not much better.
I have crosses protecting me. My mom gave me a heart, like a palm heart, or a palm cross from Palm Sunday. And I have them over my doorways.
Angelica, let me just tell you something. You are way too anxious of a person for this cross to be working. Alright, you need something else. Alright.
You know, I used to go to people's houses in Louisiana and they would have the little holy water things. You always just make the sign of the cross every time you came in.
You know why it doesn't work? Because that's all Catholic rituals and Catholic isn't actually Christians.
You know, I don't know the difference.
Catholic worships idols. Catholicism, that's like, that stuff is, the Pope just opened the portals to hell in December, okay?
This is why it's happening.
This is the problem. You're raised Catholic instead of Baptist. That's the issue. That's why you're all anxious and shit and why your crosses don't work.
I've never seen a cross in your house.
Exactly. I'm raised Baptist. I don't need them.
I don't know what a Baptist means.
Oh, you poor child.
I honestly don't know anything about religion. I just found out people think God is the same and that God might be the same as
Catholicism
Jesus,
is a cult.
The Holy Trinity is the same thing. I don't know.
Oh, God.
I like how you're doing the animated version.
Well, I mean, yeah, what footage am I going to get from the Bible?
Hey, Jim, I was baptized.
No one was alive then to record it on their fucking iPhone. What?
No, I'm just saying, like, it's not like a historical rendition. It's, like, animated.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean...
Richard's mom was watching The Passion of the Christ during Christmas, and I accidentally laughed at it while she was there.
Which part did you laugh at?
Oh, I don't know. It's time travel footage.
Because,
We can go to a church for
you're
content
corrupted,
if
you want to look gothic and shit, you're like, Gaga, my queen, she's been took. It's cooked. GG's.
Oh, I was taken by Gaga at the very beginning.
When I go to heaven, I'm gonna miss you. That's okay.
That's okay.
I'll remember you fondly.
That's okay.
Maybe. We'll see.
I think you'll be erased from your mind. You'll be like.
That's why I said
you'll be
maybe.
like,
I may not remember you at all. It's fine. It's all good.
I am free of all religion. Nothing controls me except.
That's not true. You're obsessed with Gaga.
I'm
You're
obsessed-
Gaga for Gaga.
I'm obsessed with a lot of people.
Yeah, that's idols.
What
That's
is
a religion. That's a cult.
Okay, well. I don't know what to say about this. Anything I say you can trap me with because you were raised highly religious. You know way more than me.
It's okay. I wasn't raised highly religious, actually. We just went to church on Sundays, and I just listened instead of talking a lot there.
I don't remember anything. I just remember me and my brothers.
I wasn't highly religious. I'm just observant.
My parents were like, let's go to church. And by the time me and my brothers realized that we could just stay in our room and lock ourselves in there, they stopped. I got through like halfway doing my first communion. And I was like, bro, I don't want to do this anymore. And yeah. But I was definitely baptized. That's something, right? Stream from heaven for sinners. We should take a tour of churches. I speak too much about demons, see what I have. Drogo. I also can't say anything because I put 666 in all my usernames. That's because it's my favorite number. Kristen's been listening to The Weeknd. She's in her feelings. She's like, I get to listening to him all day long. All weekend long.
Yeah, I know. What do you think the song is about, Angelica?
It's a freaking dance song.
Is it what?
It's a dance song. Well, her album Mayhem is concept. It's about demons. It's about demons. Is that what you want me to say?
Yes, but also, it's like a villain monologuing, though. I mean, that's historically what Satan does do.
Yeah, my favorite part of the music video is when it's like, you know when she has like the red?
Yeah, when
She
she's
turns red.
this part.
Yeah.
Yeah, you like that part where Satan is
No.
in his cocoon and has the cross mimicking Jesus with nails going through
It's
it?
when
That's
it's
your
like-
favorite part?
No, it's when it's her, like, the dark versus light. It's it's at minute 3. I was listening it to on the way over here. I was like, I'll show her this part.
Wait, why is it?
Because it
why is
premiered-
MasterCard?
It premiered, like, as a commercial in the middle of the Grammys.
Oh,
and
okay.
they
It's a different.
sponsored
I was like, did the upload source switch?
it. Okay, go to minute 3.
No, I'm gonna. You need to listen to these lyrics actually.
The category is dance
Gladly. God.
or die.
What do you think that means, Angelica?
We're all gonna die. Dance or die.
Yeah, we're all gonna die. Good job. Or they want you to conform to what they're doing, or they want to kill you. Persecution. What do you think this is mimicking?
Bro, I have no idea.
Military force, Angelica.
Oh, okay. I don't like that. I don't like the military.
Well, guess what? You're worshiping this while their whole agenda is to make the world one big global dominated military
What is your
force.
definition of worship?
you're entranced. You're like, yeah, this is good. I love it. I'm obsessed. This is awesome.
That's not worshiping. I don't worship her. She doesn't.
What do you think
dictate my
worshiping
life.
is?
Worshiping someone or something.
What? No, define the word worship.
To me, it's
To hype it up. All right.
no. That's not what it means to me. It means that it like rules your life. Like if you're worshiping an entity, that means that they control your life and that you model it after.
You just said gladly that you would go. You think you're kidding. You think you're kidding, Angelica. You think you are.
Who do you think
But
controls
you've been
me?
listening to it all week in a positive
It premiered
manner,
yesterday.
praising it.
Wait, you love Judas first of all. I hear you sing Judas all the time.
Because Judas is an important moral. It betrayed Jesus. It's good to remember that.
Wasn't Satan
That
a fallen
he was
angel?
a follower and betrayed him with a kiss. Like that's a song about betrayal. It's a good song because that's the lesson in the Bible. This is not the only lesson in the Bible is to run away from this shit. Okay? Or like to not really run away because you can't outrun the devil, but like to not allow it to influence you, I guess.
Pay the toll to the angels, draw a circle.
Pay a toll to the angels, drawing circles in the clouds. Okay, so we are paying a toll to the angels, acting like we can cross the bridge into heaven by drawing circles in the clouds, creating portals, man-made objects, orbs floating through UFOs, Angelica. Oh, you don't know what UFOs look like according to the government?
The only thing I think of is the movie.
What do these look like, Angelica?
A dog toy.
Drawing circles, Angelica, okay? Drawing circles in the clouds. All these spots of UFO sightings that the government is releasing, the man-made. They're really just aircraft that the military has they're not telling you about, okay? All right. Drawing circles in the clouds. Keep your mind on distance because they are a distraction.
On the distance, from the devil.
And they want you to look to the sky. You know why they want you to look to the sky? So when the rapture actually happens, Angelica, they'll blame it on the UFOs abducting you. Even though, what have UFOs done so far? Do you ever see them abducting people right now? Even though we have UFOs spotted throughout time?
No,
Yeah, what do they do? Nothing, right?
they just didn't. Well, I always thought they just like monitor us and watch us and do research on us.
Yeah, who else does that?
The government.
Good job. All right.
Oh, it's all wrong. Hold me in your heart to
Hold the devil in your heart tonight and the magic of the dark moonlight. Witchcraft, Angelica. Rituals.
I don't know how to tell you this, but my mom.
If she is a Catholic person, they also do rituals. A lot of people think, a lot of people are brainwashed or raised to believe that Catholic is Christianity, and it's not the same type that like Baptist is. There's Baptist separation from Catholicism for a reason. All right?
Don't all religion just
It's a cult.
spawn off of Catholicism?
save me from.
It's not the same as like the Satanic Church, but it's definitely not.
Well, I also think all religions are cults.
Right, that's why Baptist is the least religion. What do you have to do in Baptist? Do you have to do anything as a Baptist? No.
Then why even be a Baptist?
It's a belief.
Why can't you have
Baptist
beliefs?
is about, like, it's just a belief. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to go to church. You don't have to bow. You don't have to worship idols. You don't have to do anything.
Then why is it a religion?
It's really like the least religious of religions. And because Jesus hated religion.
What's the difference from Southern Baptist and regular Baptist? Is there?
It's just you're in the South. It's a Baptist church in the South.
Because I always thought that, or
It's
people
just
always
more
told
popular
me
in the South.
That Southern Baptist is like the most crazy. That's what they told me in Louisiana.
Of course they'll tell you that because there's a lot of people who give it a bad name because they do not. I guess that they're more like hypocritical than they should be, but you know we don't claim them. But of course they're going to tell you that because they want people to stay away from that. They never say those crazy Catholics, you know, and they'll tell you
They
that
do.
we're crazy.
They
No,
do.
I mean that's not like a thing. The Southern Baptists.
Oh,
You know what I mean? Like, it's like almost a meme. There's not really like a term associated with Catholics in America, at least.
in America, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
in
the
America.
What is the highest religion? It's just Christianity in America, right?
I guess. It's a broad term,
Yeah.
though. Because there's a lot of different sects of Christianity.
Yeah.
But anyways. The game of life.
Like a poem said by a lady in red, you hear the last few words of your life. With a
And what does the devil like to do a lot? It likes to trick you
haunting dance, now you're both in a trance.
and put you under spell.
It's time to cast your spell on the night.
Look at all these crosses.
Abracadabra, Amouranth.
And now they're doing witchcraft. Kind of like who also did that with rituals and summoning and shit before America was the Egyptians. Why do you think God had to free his people from the Egyptians?
I don't know that.
Because witchcraft and shit. What do you think they were doing in those pyramids, in those tombs? You know who also has a pyramid in their city? Like Italy does. The
So does
Vatican.
Mexico. We have multiple pyramids.
And all of the culture is rituals and the undead. And why do you think they have to do rituals? Because according to their beliefs, they can't get to the afterlife any other way.
Well, a lot of people believe
Who also
that,
can't do that.
God and Satan are the same. It's like good and evil, but it's also
I
the
mean,
same concepts. Like it's
they-
the same
they-
type of worship.
It's
Like
it's
I
not
don't
the
think any
same.
worship is good for me.
No, exactly. That's why I said Baptist doesn't worship really.
But you
We
still
do
have
not.
God.
But we don't worship as in like
So I
idols
don't
and shit and
understand.
symbolism and hand signals and all this stuff. We're not like a cult, you know. We're just like it's a belief, and then like you don't do anything.
But you still go by the Bible, don't you? That's still telling you what to do.
No, because according to baptism, the fact that you're forgiven means that none of your sins matter anymore.
But why do you have to have someone forgive you?
You don't have to.
still
That's
the-
Catholicism. We don't do that in Baptist.
But you just said that it's forgiven. Your sins
No,
were
Jesus
forgiven.
was forgiven. We don't have to have anyone active forgive us.
I just don't understand what Baptist is religion then.
Exactly.
I don't believe in
Exactly.
religions.
It doesn't seem like all the other religions, does it? Exactly. Because the other religions all have a history of control and power, but Baptist doesn't.
So why is it a religion?
Exactly.
It shouldn't
And
exist
it's almost. It's a belief.
Yeah, I don't.
It's like seeing through the bullshit of how man has corrupted the belief in Christ. Because every other version of it uses it for some kind of control and power.
What do you think about the Aztecs worshiping the sun? Because that's a religion.
I don't know, because that's so far ago and the language is so different that all we have to go off really is like pictures a lot
That's
of the
not
time.
true. No, I don't still. Their language is still in existence. A lot of Mexican people still speak that language.
But it's like the sun is like a bright circle in the sky, but it's also like giving us life.
I
So
think it's
that's
a lot
not
more
really like the
modern than
same
you
as a
think.
demon. No, I mean, but that's not the same as like a demon, right? That's like imagery
But you
of
still
like life
sacrifice.
going
You
on.
still sacrifice.
Yeah, the sacrifice shit is weird.
But that's the same time as the Pilgrims. The Mayans and the Aztecs still worship the
Well, it
sun.
depends on what the sacrificing, because there are times where you sacrifice an offering, like a lamb or something, to a god, like in Old Testament before the Jesus part, where it's like you don't need sacrifices anymore because there has been an ultimate sacrifice. But like as far as sacrificing people, like some cultures do, that shit's crazy. Like virgin sacrifices and shit. That's weird. I don't like that. You know what also is a virgin sacrifice? If you think about it, in a way. If it's... Let's just speculate that, the religion is, like, of Satanism, whatever. Let's just say that they do those children sacrifices. It's also a virgin sacrifice.
A children virgin sacrifice?
Yeah.
What about all the, almost all the wars were started with religion? What about that?
Yeah, I know. Isn't that interesting?
But Baptist is a religion.
No,
then.
but think of... No,
It has
it's
to be
Baptist,
grouped in all
they've
together.
never started a war. Baptism is not about wars. Catholicism is.
Catholicism and Christianity and...
Christianity, though, is a broad term. The Crusades were Catholic.
So is Baptist a form of Christianity? Because
It's a more modern form of it, yes.
So then it still counts as Christianity.
No,
so
it
you can
doesn't,
still-
because they crusaded for power and control. And Baptist does not. Baptist is pretty much people who decided who were analyzing all the hypocrisy with Catholicism and the fact that the Bible says do not worship idols, and yet they worship all this shit. I love the neighbor, yet they start crusades, and we're like, I'm gonna like stick to what the principles of the Bible were and get away from these hypocritical people.
Do you think that people can be good without God or good without a religion telling you these things?
Yeah, I believe they can be, but they also can be bad without knowing about religion, right?
Well, yeah, that's just human nature. That's just good versus evil.
It's not really human nature because a lot of people by default aren't like this. What it is animal instincts, which is what
Well,
a lot of
nature versus nurture.
I don't know. I think nature versus okay. So if nurture will be what environment you grew up in, right?
Yeah.
But let's just say that somebody who didn't have like two people of the same environment. Okay, one turns out like without knowing about religion, just happens to live life as you would consider morally correct because like they're just happy, they don't need to fight, they're all this shit. And the other person sticks to their animal instincts. Like that could happen. I don't think religion really has anything to do with that part.
I think it has to do with the person and how they're upbringing. Because my whole thing with religion and why I never...
It can, yes, but
like,
it can have
I
to.
was not
Because look at my brother. We were raised the same way, and he is a completely different nut job than our. It's like we were raised in the same house, and he turned out a failure. I'm like, environment does not guarantee everything.
See, I was not raised religious, as in I was never taught any values. I went to church when I was like 5, and then I stopped. Like, the only religion I know are the stories that my grandma would tell me, and I thought they were just like stories growing up. Like, it took me until I was older and I went to, like, I started realizing how seriously people took religion whenever I started realizing, like, war and stuff like that. Like, people base their whole lives on it. So, like, I guess I'm, like, the first person that you said, like, not really having any religion in my life and just developing my own morals and, like, how to be a good person, just how I naturally are, I guess. So that's why I ask, because of a lot of people that are highly religious, like in the Bible Belt, just based on my experience and who I know and who I've met, which is the vast majority of people in the Bible Belt, they think that you can't be good without God. And they think that, like, I've had people tell me, and this is just anecdotal, say that, like, if they didn't have religion, then they would freaking kill someone. Like, straight up someone was like, if I didn't have the 10 Commandments telling me or something, like a God telling me not to kill someone, I would have killed this dude by now. And I'm like, bro, that is insane. Like, the fact that people take it that to heart is, like, wild to me.
Yeah. Well, I mean...
So, like, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, some people go crazy.
That's what I'm saying, why, like, me not worshiping anyone is like that. Like, no one... I've never had anyone to, like, guide me besides, I guess, my
Good,
parents
you
and
shouldn't
myself.
worship. Worshiping... Even Jesus didn't like worship. He didn't like religion.
He shouldn't, honestly.
He flipped tables and...
He
he flipped
was
tables
like
and
that.
symbols. He was like, y'all are fucking corrupt, bruh.
Richard and I have that conversation a lot also about, like, the, he's always questioning, like, the civilization and people's natural instinct to find, like, an order, like a natural order, you know?
Yeah.
Like, he was like, do you
Sure.
think there can ever be a civilization where, like, an order or, like, someone of power and a leader exists? And I was like, no, I don't think that could ever be. Like, it's just not in, like, human nature, because even in, like, animals, you know, there's always,
Exactly.
like,
And that's part of the plan to unite the world under one leader, because the only way to do that is them versus us with faking an alien invasion.
that's freaking... I can't wait to listen to that guy's podcast, because I don't know anything about... I don't friggin'...
They're literally doing rituals.
Convinced, like, do you think the people who are fans are really like, this is contributing to them? Like, do you think this is working besides the fact that they like it?
Oh, absolutely. Did you hear about the Taylor Swift concerts? They're literally witchcraft and people don't remember them and shit.
That's...
They're, the weak-minded sheep who, like, let this consume their mind and they just keep it subconscious and they're like, yeah, like, I bet a lot of them fucking are crazy.
There was like a viral YouTube video forever ago, like one of her first 2 albums of this little kid who was very flamboyant. I'm not going to say he was gay, but he would appear to be. He was probably like middle school. And he was like Gaga's biggest fan, and that was his whole thing on YouTube. And then he was...
Hold on. The fuck? Comment from 3 hours ago. Lady Gaga from the Old Testament. That's all we needed. How are you... Okay, it probably is from the Old Testament, but it certainly isn't on the good side of the Old Testament. Fuck, man. Like, the fuck you watching, bruh?
Who said Eminem is better?
They're brainwashed, I swear. It's crazy.
Anyways, that little kid went through like conversion therapy, and he's like...
What little kid?
Like, that used to be dubbed, like, Gaga's biggest fan. Like, his parents sent him through all that. That was pretty sad. But that's, like, whenever Gaga first came on, everyone was like, Illuminati, satanic, so that's been her thing forever, so it's not surprising.
Right, but she's just, like, more obvious now.
Yeah.
I would say. It used to be a little more discreet. I mean, that's music industry in general. It's always been controlled by, like, corruption. And Hollywood is literally mocking Jesus, the name Hollywood, because his thorn of crowns when he was crucified was made of holly branches.
Oh, I totally believe that people in that they've like sacrificed their something. Like there's no good. I don't think there's a single
Sold their
good
soul
person.
to the devil to get famous.
Some rendition of that. I don't really believe.
No, I
in
mean
that.
that's what they say, right?
Yeah,
There's
that's
a
what they
reason
say, yeah.
because like they turn weird.
Yeah.
Turn weird.
4 or 5, the throne of God. Holy, holy. Are those angels? What are they? The reason why the last time Rich and I had an hour-long conversation about religion, and with my dad, because he's a huge a history buff, so all my history or like culture I'll get from him, and then I'll go look at it myself. And we saw this horror movie. I forgot what it was. It was 2 girls that I think they were Mormon, and they were going like door to door doing their Mormon thing, and they got captured. And it was just like a typical religious movie, like a nut job Mormon trying to like prove right or wrong, or trying to get them to like really say how indoctrinated they are by Mormonism. And one of the girls...
Oh, that's a cult too, yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest cults. And then I forgot the other one. It was another horror movie that by the end of it, I was like, this is like a religious cult thing. And it just totally threw me off because that doesn't resonate with me at all. So I was like, this is like a cop-out for a stupid
Any
horror
religion
movie.
that has to indoctrinate you,
Yeah.
not a good sign.
Not a good sign at all.
Not a good sign.
And to me, I get it when you're young, like you're just kind of like surrounded by these people. But I never understood why people didn't like quote unquote grow out of it.
Yeah, when Catholics went on, I guess you could say, we call them missions. They killed people.
Missions.
Crusading. When Baptists go on missions, they just tell people, hey, God loves you, gave Jesus his son to die for you. If you believe in him, cool. But they don't try to force you to do anything.
Yeah, indoctrination.
They're just spreading the word, and that's it. They're like, it's up to you to decide. They don't try to guilt trip you or anything.
Where do you, is it like the same setup, but just not the indoctrination of when a Baptist goes, like, on a mission trip?
Is it not what?
Like, why is spreading the religion in general so important for people? Besides, like, if you're saying it's not indoctrination, then what is it for?
It's more of, like, wanting people to have the best chance at, not being left here when the tribulations come. So it's more of like just caring about people in general and being like, that's why they say I'll pray for you, It's literally just about like trying to like warn people like, hey.
The thing is like the insinuation of saying like you pray to them is you're praying to a God.
No, we're not. That's the thing though. We don't pray to God.
So who do you
really?
pray to?
It's more of a conversation with him. It's not like we're praying to him like we have to offer sacrifices and worship, and like we're not praying to him to like. It's more of like it's different, right? It's like it's hard to explain, I guess, because there's only so many terms associated with this kind of thing, but the intention and the context is different with baptism.
What about people who worship nature? I forgot what druids.
I don't really know anything about druids. Besides, like, the Radagast Brown from Lord of the Rings.
Oh,
He was, like, maybe a druid? I don't know.
But yeah, you should watch the movie. Oh, the movie Apocalypto is the main, in media anyways, one of the most famous representations of the. It's sucky that it's always like portrayed as like tribal. Like you have to be kind of like what is it called? What is it called? Like the people in the forest that don't speak like English and they're thought of as like lower people. I forgot. It's not like monsters or something.
I've never heard this. What?
You know
What culture is this? Like
this is
what?
Aztec. But you know,
Aztecs.
Yeah, you know how there's like that island that like is still run by. What are they called? No.
The what country?
They are indigenous people. This is like an island. Like it's like African or on that side of the world. But anyways, Aztec culture. It's like they're almost like brutals. You know, like they're just like not real people. They're just like less than people because they're not as
Civilized?
Yes, uncivilized people. There you go. When you think of like Apocalypto, the movie, it portrays an Aztec as like this uncivilized tribe, and it's just like the power between like the real like civilized part of the uncivilized tribe, like in the big city, more to say, instead of the little villages. Where the indoctrination of the Aztec culture, it is like sacrificing heads. But then what happens is that there's an eclipse because they worship the sun. So then they're like, oh my God, we're saved. You know, like this is a sign from whatever the god that we're saved and we don't have to do the sacrifices anymore. They work. But basically, it's that struggle between everyone. And then the end of the movie, it's when like the Christopher Columbus Crusaders come in and you're just seeing like, it shows the tribe people. It's like this big chase trying to like kill each other. They see like this massive like modern ship come in, and it's just like the notion of like these other people that come from an actual civilized something. They're coming to indoctrinate you too, and just like overthrow the indigenous people. So that I think about a lot. It's like a really well acclaimed movie. Just to that's what I was saying. I think that a lot of people think that a religion like worshipping the sun or the culture of Aztecs is a lot less modern than
Let me tell you something.
Yes.
Every movie that you see.
Well, okay, no, it's not me saying like.
No. I'm just saying like every movie that you see, if it seems like it has a greater meaning, you really have to look at who was behind that story and did they die after doing something that defied either the government or Catholics.
It's not always Catholics though. There's like Muslims and things like
Sure.
that. There's the whole other side
A
of the
cultish
world,
religion.
which is every religion.
If they did, or if they like in the case of books, if it got banned, either at one point in like schools.
But every book's being banned now. To Kill a Mockingbird's getting banned.
I know. What do you think
To Kill
that's?
a Mockingbird is about?
What does a mockingbird do? It
sings.
mimics. It mocks. It sings while it mocks. The title is more important than the actual pages of the book.
But the book's about racism.
Persecution. Banned. Think about it. Fahrenheit 451.
That's like the basic example
Banned.
though.
1980 was it 84? Yeah. Banned. Animal Farm, where it's basically humanoid animals rising against their human creator, and what is Satan? What does satanic, I guess, followers do? Appeal to their base animal instincts. Banned. As they rebel against.
Lord of the Flies is another really good portrayal of. That's the conversation of like do people take a higher power?
At one point too, Lord of the Rings was banned too. And it's fallen angel Sauron watching you always with the eye imagery. And what do the good guys really have to do to defeat him? Really nothing. They just have to not be scared. Mm-hmm. There's nothing you can do to defeat him except not be scared, because if you're scared, he possesses you and takes a hold of you.
Which is religion.
The cultish part, exactly, like what we call religion now.
I've just never heard a religion that is not cultish, because I think if
baptism, it's not cultish.
if you're part of a religion, that's in like generality, that's just That's just a cult.
That's why I don't consider myself religious, because to me, religion now is like what I associate with religion is having to do certain things, having to like worship certain idols, having to do certain actions like kneeling or like the fucking cross bullshit, hand gestures and shit. Like that all feels like a cult.
It is. Oh, absolutely. I was about to say something. What do you think about religious versus spirituality?
I think spirituality is probably what more Baptist is.
Yeah, that's
rather
what it's
than
just,
like
that's
the
what it
act
sounds
of
like.
participating in a religion.
Yeah. Because I think it's when it's organized religion, that's when it's cult. When it's
right.
like a
when you have to do
denomination.
something that you have to, everybody has to do a thing. Because like even in baptism where you're called to tell people about it, you don't have to.
We don't have to do that in Catholicism. You don't have to go on a mission.
Right,
trip.
but if you go to a Catholic church, what do you have to do? You gotta like kneel and shit.
Yeah, I don't know.
And
I
like
never
do
understood
like
that.
all these like rituals every time you go. And you have to like confess to a priest. And why do you think
anyone
that
who's actually confessed?
Oh, people in chat talk about it. Why do you think they confess? Or why do you think that the church set it up that way? So they would have dirt on you and know about everything and be able to emotionally blackmail you with it, or in society blackmail you with it and control you?
Okay, but how would they do that? How would a friggin' priest in a small city do that?
Do you not remember the fucking Scarlet Letter type shit?
That's completely different. That's sexuality, which I know in the.
But it was a defiance of like
You can trace anything.
it's stuff like that crusading.
You can trace anything back to religion, and while it's bad, and that's why it's worshiping something. If you need a religion to tell you where to lead your life,
let
it's
me
worship.
ask you this: how would they know about those things they punish people for if they hadn't confessed? Well, you think
how
the
do they
priest
know any
walked in on
religious
her
person?
in her house, and we're like, she's a whore.
I think any religion that is considered a a denomination is an organized religion.
Yeah,
Any organized religion involves some type of worship.
sure.
Even if it's just the ideals, you're worshiping the ideals.
Because like it's different. Because only type of worship Baptist. This is why people confuse it. Because there's different types of worship. Worship to a Baptist is literally just singing songs about stories.
Yeah.
But worship to like in Catholicism is like including idols and saints and like all these figures that aren't the Lord that you have to acknowledge and pray to and shit. Like it's a different type of worship.
Yeah.
Like it's
but like,
multiple meanings.
it's still worship. It's still worshiping an entity. It doesn't have to be a person. It could be anything, like the sun. See, I don't worship anything.
That's not bad. That's fine. You don't have to. Like that's good.
Yeah.
I'm glad you don't worship anything. Good.
So this is a joke.
I mean, maybe to us, but
I
not to
think-
Jacob.
Actually, I wonder. I've talked to Jacob about religion before because he was.
Jacob is a confused soul. I feel bad for him, and I will pray for him. He's an adopted child that got adopted into a Jewish family
Yeah, he
and
really
likes
did.
emo music and has a satanic temple card. He's confused.
And his mom died. She was really old though. His parents were like in their 60s when he was in elementary and middle school. That sucks. Because also for like
Prosperity God. I don't know what you're talking about, Slart. And by my I've been to many Baptist churches, and I ain't never heard something about prosperity gospel. Somebody lied to you and said that church was Baptist. Okay,
Someone lied to you.
I don't know what the fuck that is.
I think that's one of the like big factors of like me understanding spirituality versus religion too, is because a lot of like true Mexican culture too, kind of the in between of Catholicism and like the Aztec, it's just all spiritual stuff. It's not like a ton of religion, like traditions type things, you know. But I think my mom's done witchcraft before, definitely. Like like Santeria, like the actual thing. It's like a form of voodoo.
Hold on. Chat, we're going to look at prosperity gospel. I've never heard this from any Baptist church.
Christian belief that God rewards people. Oh, yeah, see.
Let's see, that's not a Baptist thing then.
Is that just the... Okay, so... The Christian general belief is just believing in God, right? Or like believing in the...
No, believing in just God and not Jesus is Jewish. Or maybe if it's Abraham's God, Muslim. Christianity, Christ, Jesus. That is what Christianity is. You have to also follow the New Testament.
Ew, right. I forgot old and new are two different, like, completely different
Christian
things.
denominations, including Pentecostal. See,
Oh,
you don't
do
even
Pentecostal.
you don't even know what you're talking about, Slark. Trying to come at me for baptism being prosperity. This is not Pentecostal. Is not baptism. Okay.
Bro, I got preyed on by
No.
like a full 19-year-old
No.
when I was 16 years old, and he was all trying to pressure me into stuff. And he was like an anarchist and like purposely went into the army to try to show him and got kicked out. And then he was like, hold on, I gotta stop by my family's church real quick. They're really into it. And I was like, okay. And it was a friggin' Pentecostal church. And I didn't know anything about it. And I was like, is this why your sister has really long hair and only wears long skirts? Why are these
Yeah.
people chanting, like speaking in tongues? What did you get me into?
I can tell you that Joel Osteen preaches a shit. Joel Osteen.
Joel Osteen, he's a megachurch person.
That's like not at all the type of church my family would go to. That dude is he is corrupt.
Yeah. He
All
is
right,
hella corrupt.
he doesn't even open his church as like a shelter. Okay, he does not give a shit.
There's a one in Baton Rouge called Jimmy Swaggart who's like that. And I'm like, why is your name Jimmy Swaggart? Joel Osteen is a cult. Evangelicus.
Yeah, that is not baptism.
No.
Okay,
Yeah, people worship
evangelism
him like
is
he's God.
not baptism. Just because a church is in the South doesn't mean it's Southern Baptist.
Wait, can you look
There-
up if like why people think Southern Baptist is whatever? You don't have to, but
No, I mean I could tell you why they
What
talk
about the
about
church-
bad about
the
you.
Church
Just
of
because
England?
they don't want
Look,
people to
so-
like you.
Where's Omega Jim? What about the Church of England?
Isn't that also Catholic? I don't know. I'm sure they have different stuff
It's
too.
it's the king. They were like, let's split up from the Vatican. We'll create our own church. That's the other thing. Like all these other religions, they're just dudes being like, I don't like this. Let's go alter it, which is fine. But I'm like, religion is fake to me. Like what? Is
Oh,
it?
interesting. Osteen, the direction of the rising sun. Doesn't that seem kind of Egyptian?
Family Christ.
Derived from the Gothic word Ostan. Direction of the rising sun. I mean, lots of stuff, right? Like, I mean, there's sun too in Egyptian. There's sun
symbolism
in
and suns and everywhere with different meanings. What do you think about-
Osteen, American origin, and means exalt the God, like
Oh
God
my
be exalted.
God. Jesus
Which is
Christ.
like too
That's-
much of the worship thing again, like too much religious
There's also
worshiping something.
like the Asian values of like karma and stuff like that. I used to be so pissed off actually when people would be like, "That's karma." I'm like, bro, you know that's part of another religion, and you're over here like practicing whatever. Like
There's so many like things that are sus about so much.
so much stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't trust people who are highly religious. Never will.
Mm-hmm.
And just freaking have an original thought. Like
Yeah, that's why I like keeping an open mind. I just do the wait and see approach. Like that's more of the
Yeah.
Baptist thing is like open mind. No, there's some sus shit going on.
yeah.
Here's a warning, maybe just food for thought, you
Yeah.
know. And then they don't make you do anything.
Yeah, and like if I had kids, I would never push anything. I would let them figure it out. on their own.
Exactly.
Like, that's like the sense of like having power over someone is like just in whatever way, like pop culture, friggin' entertainment, military, religion. It's just so gross.
Yeah.
I've been associated with the church. Oh, have not.
Yeah, I would say baptism, if anything, is more of just trying to teach you on what could be and what has gone on throughout history, and to not let your mind or heart be swayed by corrupted principles in the
See,
world.
Someone said it
I
gives
like
the-
that's about like the most like rules there could be, but they're not even rules. It's just like it's more of a spirituality than a religion.
Yeah. Someone said it gives kids good morals and friends, which is fine, but like you can also get good morals based on like how you're raised or the people that you just associate yourself. That's like if you can't have good morals without religion, that's not good. Like,
yeah, and like the thing about like I personally have never participated in the tithes, but my parents have before at a church, but they don't, there's no pressure to do it. They even say it, at least in the good churches, Baptist churches, as they pass around the offering bowl. It's like, if you want to support our missions to go tell people about like the Lord and Jesus, you can, but do not feel pressured to. They don't require a tithing. Like, that's why it's, like, different, you know? It's like, if you want to support the mission trips, which they actually show you that they're doing, and there's people of the church that are participating in it, there's, like, actual proof what the money is, like, being spent on.
but you don't think
Is,
that
like,
is
different.
still, like, a mission trip in its just whole concept is still indoctrination? Oh my god, I can't say that freaking word. Like, indoctrinization?
No.
Because you're still going to spread the
No,
word.
because you don't make people go through a process or anything. There's not, like, a ritual or,
But
like,
you're
a
still
set
trying
of
to
things
get
you have to
people
do.
believe what you're believing.
But you're not even trying to get them to, it's not that you're trying to make them believe, it's you're just trying to spread the word of like, hey, this is what I believe, but you can think what you want. Like, it's different, right?
what's
It's
the
just
point?
having a conversation.
What's the point then? Why do you have to have a mission trip to go do this?
A mission trip
a
just
mission
means
trip,
they
a
just
mission
call
to
it
go do that.
a mission to just spread the word.
But that's
It's
kind
not,
of, you don't think that's kind of
but it's not a mission to like dominate, you know? Missions don't have to be bad intentions.
But you don't think that's culty to be like, hey, go spread the word?
No.
How is that different than
Because
another
that's like
religion doing
sounding a
that?
horn that danger is coming. That's like birds calling to each other in a forest when there's a fucking predator hunting them.
So there's a sense of fear in it still, though.
Not really, because it also teaches like don't be afraid. Because like there's not really a sense of fear. Because if you don't believe in God anyways, you probably don't think you're going to heaven regardless. So
You don't- if
there's
you don't
no
believe-
downside.
If you don't
to-
believe in God, you don't believe in heaven, so what's it matter? Like,
Yeah.
I don't believe heaven,
They're
hell,
just
purgatory,
trying-
like...
it doesn't actually like change anything in the world, right? You don't, the more people you get to your side, it's not like you can defeat anything. It's more of just
So you're
like
trying-
looking out for your neighbor vibe, like
but
trying
you're
to warn them.
You're trying to gain some kind of control by bringing them to your side.
No, you're not. It's
Then
not
why are
about
you going
control.
On a mission trip? Why are
Because
you
you're just
going
trying
out
to
there?
warn people of like a tsunami coming, right? When you sound a siren for like an evacuation, you're not trying to control the people. You're trying to warn them, hey, danger's coming.
But if they don't believe in it, you're trying to make them believe in
Well,
it.
if they don't believe in it, then they can just stay and they don't have to evacuate and maybe they get took. I don't know. Like,
But you're still trying to convince them to go with you.
no, you're not really trying to convince them.
But by saying like, hey, warning you of like the rapture, you're still insinuating like, hey, by the way.
Because it's mostly that it's not most when people go on mission trips, they should go to areas that have like never heard of God.
That's not true.
A lot of times it is. They'll go to people that have maybe like never actually spoken to someone about it,
So
never
like,
actually heard it.
what mission
They'll
trips?
give Bibles to like cultures that don't have whatever, you know.
What culture doesn't have a religion that hasn't heard
No,
of
no, no,
God?
no, no, Baptists. Like they
Oh,
that
that's never
version.
heard of baptism.
Yeah, where it's like it's not culty and it's just like, hey, this is just spiritual belief, and you don't have to like do all this other shit.
So what does someone on a mission trip what would be the point of going? The thing that never clicked with me is like, you're going to spread your word, but you're talking to someone who doesn't believe in anything, so you're still trying to get them to believe in what you're believing in.
But you're not. It's
Because-
not. I mean, it's like you're trying to warn them, but it's their choice at the end of the day to believe. You know.
Yeah, so it's like, why?
It's not trying to get them in the control sense, right? It's not like do this or I'm gonna kill you. It's
So
more of like
when a
here's
bap-
this thing.
When
choose
someone
what you
who's
want.
a Baptist
Bye.
is on a mission trip and they're just there to warn you, they have no intention of being like, but here, come to our church. But here, believe what I'm telling you, or I'm in.
Does not even come to my church if they go on mission trip.
It's just saying here, but you're trying to spread the word of Baptist. So you're like, here are my beliefs. You can believe them, but I'm still
that's
intending you to believe it.
It's not spreading the word of Baptist, it's spreading the word of God. That's what
That's
what it
somehow
is.
worse.
No. It's not worse. It's saying, hey, keep an open mind. Because really, think about it. What is the downside to
So
baptism?
if someone's
There is
going,
none.
so if someone's going like, hey, bro, you don't have to, but like, this is what I think of Satan. I'm warning you of God. What would
What?
you think? So if someone went on a mission trip for Satanism, but
Okay.
they're like chill about it, They're like, hey, the rapture's coming,
Right.
and like you should believe in me instead of God or whatever.
Wait, if they're telling me that the rapture is coming, why would I want to believe in Satan if he's keeping me from going? That doesn't make sense.
It's just okay. I don't know what Satanists believe in. I don't know, but I'm saying like, say it's another religion. So Christianity, Catholicism, and Christianity. Let's just do typical, just Christian. Okay, if they're like, hey, the rapture is coming. You can believe in this if you want. This is what I believe in. I'm warning you. What's the goal of that? Just to warn
look out for
someone in general?
people. Yeah.
So if I'm just like, hey,
loving
bro,
thy neighbor and not wanting people to suffer.
if I'm like, hey, there's something going on with the sun, it's telling me, my belief, that something's coming, and I want you just, what's going on? Would you be like, wow, they're trying to convince me the sun is trying to tell me, like, what?
No, someone's just trying to tell me what they believe. If they're not trying to make me do anything, I'm just like, okay, and
But
then
you're
it's
still
my
trying-
choice to believe or not, and that's fine.
Yeah, but you're still trying to spread the word of the religion. And that's like
But
low
that's the
level
thing.
indoctrination.
It's a belief. It's not religion in the same sense that like all these other religions have made like a cult of things
But it's
you
a
have to do
religion.
in worship.
It's still a sect of religion.
Because you are closing your mind to the fact that the term religion is not actually in the Bible, and that people have twisted the word of God into religions in order to control people.
So do you think Baptist is a religion?
No, I would call it more of a spirituality, but it's classified as a religion because that's just how mainstream sees it.
It just isn't.
It's more of a faith, I guess, but not like the same type of ritualistic religion where it has all these requirements like most others do.
But not all, most others, yeah. But so if there's another religion who doesn't do rituals, it's just like the word of, it's just like you're still convincing people, trying to convince people, or trying to side with them, try to understand where you're coming from as far as the beliefs. But if they don't believe in all that, then it's like...
Well, then it's like, okay, it is what it is.
Then it's just like, so the intention of your saying, of any religion going to someone and trying to spread the word is never to try to get them to believe what you believe.
I mean, you're trying to save them, but you're not trying to get them to believe in the sense that you need control like the Catholics did.
So why does the church still encourage that then? Why is it a church that
Because
encourages that?
because
they
they're
believe
called,
that they're trying to save you.
Yeah, but their saving doesn't require control, and they don't make you.
But it's
anything.
control by still trying to get someone to do it. That's still
That's
a sense
not
of control.
that's not
It's just a low
control. What
level
are
of
they
control.
controlling? What are they controlling? You are.
They're controlling you to send
No, they're
you
not
on these
controlling.
things.
No, they're not. What is
Then
the
why
control?
do people go on missions?
If it's baptism, to just tell people about like that Jesus died for them, and hopefully that maybe if they have an open mind, they don't have to have eternal suffering.
But you're trying to say you believe in eternal suffering, so you're like, hey, you can believe in this too.
Yeah, even staying on earth is eternal suffering.
But see, I think
I don't want to stay here of the tribulation.
But so if you're
the
trying to
fuck?
tell someone who doesn't believe in anything, like I don't believe.
It's not mental gymnastics. I think you're just overthinking it and you're confusing.
No, I'm trying to simplify it.
word.
I'm trying to simplify the purpose of going on a mission trip. To warn someone.
To warn somebody.
But
It's like a tornado siren. Like,
it's
hey,
not.
tornado coming.
It's not, because that's science. That's based in science, where you can actually prove it, or you can hypothesize. You can't prove or hypothesize anything in religion.
That's why it's called faith.
Okay, now you're changing it to faith from religion? You still have
No,
faith
I mean
in
baptism.
something.
I'm talking about baptism.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm saying you're trying to warn someone, but it's backed in religion.
But no, a lot of Baptist stuff, like the stories that are in there, you can actually, there is actually proof. Like people have found Noah's Ark. People have found
How do they prove that Noah's Ark is what Noah's Ark is in? Back in the
it happens to
storytelling?
match the story exactly. That's how. It's like undeniable.
How
type
is
of
it?
stuff.
There's science to back it.
No,
and,
the
like, artifacts
description
and stuff.
matches, and yes, the
The
science,
description
sure.
in the Bible
Yeah.
that's been translated so many times before, even.
No, if you look at pictures, so I said you have to ignore like the words specifically because a lot of stuff can be, and you have to look more as like the imagery that has been presented.
But can you agree that baptism spawned? It broke off from Catholicism, and Catholicism is based off of the Bible.
Yes, it did break off from Catholicism because people realized Catholicism was corrupt.
Yeah, it is. But Catholicism was based off of the
So
Bible.
this is getting too far away from what the Bible is, because that's how it started. It was supposed to be based on the Bible, and the people like, this is getting way too far away from what the Bible actually is. Too much fucking hypocrisy going against its own beliefs.
But
And so
the Bible
they
in
separated.
Catholicism is already corrupt to begin with, so baptism is starting from a corrupt Bible because it's been translated so many times
It's
from
not
different
starting
languages,
from
different people writing it, interpreting in their own way, because you can't interpret a religion specific.
It's because Catholicism has gotten more corrupt as time goes on.
But
that's
it
the
started
issue.
off being corrupt.
I don't think it did actually.
did.
Where
Where's the original Bible from? Was it in English?
No.
Exactly. And when you
No.
interpret something from different
But
languages,
the idea of it, the concept of the belief, because Catholicism started from just believing the Bible, and that
and
is
the
not.
Bible was translated from something so many times that in
Listen,
theory,
the Bible
it could have
tells you
been.
not to let people control you, though. That's the thing. The Bible itself, its teachings are not to listen to and let the mind control you. Essentially, it's like defying corruption.
But how do you know
that's the ironic part? But then Catholicism is like, no, you have to do all these things, when the Bible is actually saying the opposite. That's why I'm saying, like, the Bible itself is not
It's
like the
been
belief
corrupt-
in the Bible is not a basis starting point from corruption.
Well, I'm not talking about corruption. I'm saying, can you agree that the Bible, as it is in Catholicism, was already corrupt from the beginning?
No, okay, so you're getting confused. When baptism is not based on Catholicism, it's people choosing to leave Catholicism.
But it's still based on the Bible,
right. But that's
which
not.
has been misinterpreted and mistranslated.
So how do I
many
explain
times.
this in a? Because to me, I feel like I'm making sense, but she's not understanding.
'Cause it
So
doesn't
is
make
there a
sense to
better
me, 'cause
wording?
I
know.
don't believe any of it, so it doesn't make any sense to me. Like how it doesn't make sense that I don't believe in.
Okay,
something
let's
to
do
you.
it. Let's maybe a visual. Maybe a visual.
No,
work.
I understand what you're saying. I just don't believe in it, so it doesn't mean
Okay.
anything to me.
I mean, that's fine. You don't have to believe it. I don't care. But you're just asking, like, how does it work? I'm not trying to make you believe anything. I'm just asking you're asking me, how does it work for someone who does?
The Bible is grounded by God, but God is not. But I don't believe in God, so the Bible doesn't mean anything.
Well, that's fine. You can believe what you want.
Bible.
Okay, Bible. Go to.
But it didn't start with Catholicism.
Okay, that's.
So that arrow.
I know it didn't start, but Catholicism rose up, right?
Yeah.
The Bible goes in a lot of different directions, okay?
Right. it has a ton
And
of
these
different
people,
interpretations.
okay, the people who were Catholic, right? They were like,
this is
I don't
just
know.
Western
And so they went
society.
back to the Bible and then they made their own. All right? That's what I'm saying. Like, it's like when you say it's based on Catholicism, it's not. They're leaving Catholicism. They go back to the Bible and then they gather their beliefs based off of
So
what the Bible actually is saying to them.
So Baptist wasn't. It has nothing to do with. It's completely different.
Yes,
Catholicism.
very different.
There's nothing in common.
Except the fact that God is a thing, correct.
Okay. What about all the other religions that spawned off of Baptist? So Baptist.
Nothing spawns off of Baptist.
I mean,
They all
Catholicism.
are different.
So
They all are different divisions of, like, the Bible, but you have to pay attention to which ones are corrupt and which ones don't try to control you or make you do anything. That's the thing.
So you think that the only religion that's not corrupt is Baptist, or is it scale?
I don't know enough about what exists now because I feel like people make new underground belief system, whatever
Yeah,
the
they
fuck.
do.
But I just know, like, the modern, like, the mainstream, all the sects of Christianity, Baptist is the closest to what the Bible actually says, or like the rough translations. If you compare all the different translations, the base concepts, and it's close
So,
to
do you
closest to that
think-
without any intention to control people.
Okay, but is Baptist the most similar to the Bible back before Catholicism is the thing? When it's the Eastern world, not Western civilization.
I would
So, like,
you'd have to
Islam.
compare all the different translations to each other, but yes, I would say it's the closest to all the different translations when you break down the base, like, common denominators of all the different versions.
Even like Islam and things like that. You
Islam
think
is
that-
not the same as they have
But
the Quran.
it's all started from.
No, Islam they use the Quran. They don't
So
use
where
the
did
Bible.
where did the Bible start? Every religion has the same general concepts. It all started from the same idea.
I don't even know if it was called the Bible originally because
It
words,
really wasn't.
languages translated, right?
That's what I'm trying to say. Yes.
That's why I say it's not as important about the words in a book. That's why I say go back to different cultures.
Okay. Yes.
And look
I
at
can
the
agree with that.
imagery in their scrolls or on their walls. It's all
We're
kind
a
of
lot
the same concept
Well, so then before Catholicism got as corrupt as it is, it does have a lot of, like you're saying from like, for example, the Aztec, because that's what I know the best. It comes in symbolism, and that's how it's translated from.
Yes.
So
I would say Baptism, though. Think about all these different religions and stuff, okay? Like all the different, even the non-Christian ones, okay? If you think about like what they all do, a lot of them require rituals, a lot of them require all this shit you have to do. So if you have to do all these rituals and stuff, it's like it seems like that's a form of controlling your people, right? If there's like certain things you have to do and that you can't do, and all these things, like that's control.
So what
which
are the
doesn't
what are the
sound
core
like
values?
a belief in spirituality at all.
What are
It
the
sounds
core
like a
values
control
of
system.
Baptist? It's a control system if you have any type of upper thing, like upper value system in a religion. So like, what are the values in Baptist? What do you guys base it off of? Stories? God? God is still the worship. God is still the worship.
But
of
it's
the
not the
values.
worship though. Like we have to like make sacrifices to
That's not the
him
only
and-
kind of worship that you can have.
Yeah, I know, but it's not the same. Also, with like we have to do these certain behaviors and steps.
Well, I
and
think you're
actions.
very focused on like the actual physical things of worship, but there's also like mental and spiritual worship of something, telling you what is okay. What are the values of Baptist?
Well, the values of Baptist, it's there's not really a set. Like there's values like, oh yeah, try to be a good person and don't hurt me, but like try not to like hurt as little people as possible in life. Obviously, there's going to be accidents or whatever maybe.
Would you
but like
say-
don't try to just be a good person is part of it in
Yeah.
general. You know, staying up.
But is that based in the Bible? Can you say that you worship the Bible? People in Baptist worship
It depends
the
your
Bible?
definition of worship, right? If you mean like look to the Bible as for guidance, sure.
And
But
that's
like
what
a lot of
that
people
is what I
will do
consider
that.
worship.
Well, see, that's the thing that like the worship that a lot of these other religions do is not looking to something for guidance. They use it to control their entire actions of like, because otherwise there's punishment if they don't abide. That's the
Yeah,
difference.
so all you're doing is taking the punishment out. All you're doing is taking the fear out.
Right. Which is the basis of like why people think
But you're
religion was made to control people. It's just a power, a hierarchy.
But
So
there-
basically, essentially, yes.
But there is still a form of control based on the fact that you're using the Bible to determine what the religion's about. That's still a form of control. If you had no control, if the Bible had no control over you, you wouldn't believe in anything it says.
Well, I don't. There's a lot of stuff in there that I feel like has been twisted, though. So there's a
Yeah.
lot of stuff that I do question because it seems like it's coming from a basis of control. But if you
Hey,
look
Mystic,
at
if you're
the,
calling me an idiot, you
why are
can't-
you being one guy?
No, I'm looking at atheists will trust everything because they're morally intellectually. Bro, my IQ is 121. Okay.
Okay, so let me tell you ultimately
Okay.
why Baptists are so firm in their faith. Because think of the downside of believing in this, okay?
It's that you're being controlled by the Bible.
No.
It's that you
I'm
have
no, you're not listening. Think about the downside of believing that Jesus died for you.
That this freaking guy.
And that you'll go to heaven as long as you believe it. What are the downsides?
That you have to abide by whatever the religion
No, there's
tells
nothing to
you.
abide by in baptism. What are the downsides?
You believe in what
No,
Baptist tells you.
no. But you don't have to do anything.
Then you're
you
not
just
Baptist.
live life.
Then you're not Baptist.
That's not true. That's just you are Baptist.
So how?
But
how-
baptism doesn't have things you have to do.
So if
So
I don't
think
have
about
to
it.
do
Think about
anything-
it. Shh, you're not. You're complicating. Focus.
I'm not
Clear your
complicating
mind.
anything.
Clear your mind.
Clear my mind.
Okay. In baptism, Jesus died for your sins. Okay, so now you get to go to heaven as long as you believe it. What are the downsides?
That you believe in heaven. That's the downside. That you
Right,
believe
that's not
in
much of a
something.
downside.
That's a
Okay.
downside to me because I don't believe in it. So
That's not a downside. Okay, so if you don't go to heaven, where do you go?
You die. You go into nothing.
Exactly. So this is the
Nothing
only
happens.
upside then. What do you mean?
There's no upside to religion for me because I don't believe in it.
It's not religion, it's the concept of...
Baptist is a religion.
So this is the only thing with upside, basically.
No.
Okay, so what else is upside?
There's no upside in it. There's no upside, there's no downside. The downside is that The religion is trying to get me to believe, and I don't want to believe
Oh
in what
my
it's telling me.
god.
What do you think the upside is?
Getting to go to heaven, not having to,
But I don't believe
not
in
having
heaven.
to. I know, so I'm saying from a Baptist perspective.
Okay, Baptist perspective.
Because we're saying, why do the Baptists believe what they believe? Because it's the only thing that offers an upside. So what is the harm in believing it, basically, is how this started, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the basis of religion, is wanting to avoid downsides, wanting to maximize
do you
chances
think-
of upsides.
So you said there's no fear in Baptist. Why would you not want to go to heaven? Because you're afraid of not going into it. You're afraid of not being able to go to heaven. That's a fear.
No, but Baptists, you don't have to worry about that in the rule of Baptist, because if you believe in it, then no matter what you have done in your life, you get to go into heaven. That's ultimately, at the end of the day, that is why they believe what they believe. But also all these other things in religion, the fact, like, just when you open your eyes and look at the world, there's a lot of corruption out there, and things are lining up more and more with, like, prophecies that are in the Bible, which is weird. It's very strange. Baptism is definitely more of like a faith, like God. I hope this is because
But it's not
this
just a
shit
faith,
that's
it's really
happening in the
God.
world over time is scary, and it's
Okay,
lining
there's-
up weirdly with this book. So baptism is like just believing the base concepts of the book, because signs in life are pointing towards the book being correct.
Yeah, they said, well, fine, but Baptist is as long as you believe in the Bible, which is true. If you live by the Bible. Okay, so let's simplify it again. What's the insinuation of saying, hey, I want to spread the word, I want to look out for you, if you do this, you go to heaven? What's the insinuation? It's if you don't do it, you don't go to heaven.
Right,
So I'm trying-
but that's what, yes, that belief a lot of Christianity
I'm
shares.
talking about Baptist. I'm not
Well,
talking
no,
about-
but even Catholicism thinks that.
I don't care about Catholicism.
But
It's just
that was the whole debate, though. How is Baptist different from Catholicism? What do you mean?
That's not what I'm debating.
No, that's what we were talking about this whole time.
That's not what I've been talking about. I've been talking about worship. Nothing to do with Catholicism. I've been talking about worship and worshiping.
I know, but I mean, since we started the Christianity discussion.
Okay, well, my point and what I'm talking about is having control is worship. Worship and control go hand in hand.
Yes, they do, which is why it's bad. And I'm glad you don't do it.
So Baptist worships the Bible, or no? The Bible.
It does not worship it.
So what is Baptist?
It heeds its warning, basically.
It heeds its warning. So
yes.
Baptists believe in what the Bible say.
Even then, we have doubts that it's 100% accurate because it has been translated and stuff.
Yeah.
So
okay,
it's
we
just,
agree on
it's
that.
heeding the warnings, essentially.
Okay, but the warnings are what the Bible says. Like, the rapture,
A lot of it, it's like yes and no, right? We understand that because of corruption, and especially Catholicism, that the Bible's probably been translated a lot of times. That's why baptism, a lot of times we go back to the oldest form available, because it's probably the least likely to be, like, true to modern corruption, right? But even then, we know that, like, certain books have been left out, like Ezekiel
Yeah.
and all this stuff, so
so what do you think the rapture is? Because for me, the rapture is the world dying because of science. Because the planets die all the time. That's what the rapture is to me. And we treat our world bad.
the rapture, according to Revelation, is Jesus coming back, the second coming of Christ, and
Right.
taking all the believers with him.
So Jesus is the one that's telling you what to do.
He's not, though. He says
But
that he
he-
doesn't like religion. That's the
But
thing.
Jesus created this idea.
No,
of the
Jesus did not
religious
create
rapture.
the idea of it. It was a prophecy.
So
Jesus
a
did not create
prophecy-
it.
So Jesus is the head guy in the Bible, right? He created what the rapture is, and Baptists abide by what that
Wait,
rapture
wait.
is. That's control.
Jesus didn't do anything. He was merely God's son, according to like the New Testament.
Okay, well, whoever said the rapture was in the Bible, Baptists believe in that rapture.
Yes,
So the Bible controlled their idea of what the rapture is.
but it's not controlling them. It's a prophecy Like
No, but
this.
it
It's like
controls your
thinking.
belief.
It's like believing that the sun will rise tomorrow, kind of thing. You don't know. The world could end today, but you have faith and you believe the sun will rise tomorrow. But does the sun control you? No.
Some people think it does. 'Cause that's
Does
their
it literally
religion.
control your action though? Does the sun making you
No,
dance?
and neither does religion. Religion doesn't have any control of what I believe.
Of what you believe, great. But
Yeah.
does religion? A lot of those different religions, do they try to
that's for the
control
main house.
people? Yes. Crusade, Muslim, like
You
all
keep
these things.
spanning. I'm trying to stay with this. You keep going off and doing
I
these
know.
other
We're talking about the
things.
concept of religion.
Yeah, and the
Yeah, it's-
control in religion.
Exactly.
Religion inherently controls, and
Yes,
Baptist is a religion, so there's
It's-
inherent control in it. That's for me.
You're calling it a religion, though. Baptist calls itself faith.
So Baptist isn't a religion.
They don't really align
Is
themselves
Baptist
with
a
being
religion?
a religion, no. But
But
other
is it a
people will call it a
religion?
religion.
So Baptist isn't a religion.
No, it's a sect of.
it's a sect
belief.
of a religion.
It's a. God, how do I explain this, Chat? Because English doesn't have enough words to make people who don't understand the context or culture
I understand it. I just don't believe in any of it. It means nothing to me. It doesn't exist to me. None of the things in any religion exist to me. So, Baptist isn't a religion.
Not in the same way other religions
No,
are.
that's not what I'm asking. Is it a religion?
No.
Baptist isn't a religion.
Oh my God. It's not. No, because that's the thing. Other people will call it a religion. Other people who aren't Baptist will call
Do
it a
Baptists
religion.
call it a religion?
No.
What do they call it? A faith?
Yes.
Then
There's
that's
faith,
fine.
spirituality, like all this stuff. Yeah,
So
that's what I'm
why is-
saying.
why is
Like,
that a
to
not-
Baptists, no, it's not religion. Because Jesus didn't like religion. But other people who aren't Baptist will look at it and throw it in the same category as religion.
Well, this is news to me because I thought Baptist was a religion.
See? Because you weren't raised Baptist. So that's understandable.
Yeah, it's understandable.
Yeah.
So is the Bible a religious text?
No.
It's not.
I think religions were formed to control people based on the Bible's teachings, because I think Bible has been used through different cultures over
Yeah,
time
it
as
has.
like a history book mixed with parables.
Yeah.
It's like
I
there's a
can-
mixture of truth and then there's a mixture of stories
Yes.
that tell a message.
Yes, exactly.
But also you could interpret stories being historical facts that have been twisted and warped over time because it's
Yeah.
like a game of telephone
Yeah.
with different translations. So
Yeah.
when you say stories in history, those can often be based on the same concepts.
Yeah.
So that's what essentially what the Bible is.
Okay. So Baptist is not a religion, and the Bible has no control over the Baptist belief.
Correct. It does not control us.
So why do you go off of the Bible? You just go off of it because of the stories.
Because of the faith and beliefs. Yes, the stories,
So
the
then what is
teachings, and how we
Jesus?
compare them to like things happening in the world.
So do Baptists believe that Jesus is the Savior, and that Jesus controls where you go
Savior-
to heaven or hell?
Yes and no. Savior is
So
in.
there's a control.
No. He
You just
doesn't.
get to
That's
know.
why I'm saying that's the no part.
Okay.
The yes is the Savior because He died for your sins, so you can go to heaven. But He does not control you. You have free will still. You can do
But
what
he
you
controls
want.
the concept of it.
No, because before Jesus, there was ways to get to heaven still.
How?
There were like a bunch of bullshit loopholes you had to go through in the Bible. We could. That's too much to talk about. Like
That's okay, that's okay.
the Old Testament is so complicated.
All I'm saying is
Like-
my interpretation is that every religion has a sense of control in it.
Yes, it does.
There you go.
That's why I don't like religion.
Yes.
And that's why baptism
And
doesn't
that's why
consider
you
themselves
consider
religion.
Because you say that there's no control in Baptist. You can do
Correct.
whatever you want.
Yes, you can do what you
So then
want
why-
because we're all sinners and God died for you, so none of your sins matter anymore. They are washed away.
So then where does the thought of going to heaven is? Who
What do you
told
mean
you
the
about
thought?
that? Are you under control of
It's-
someone else's thoughts?
No.
Okay, so
No,
do you have
it's-
to believe
it's-
in heaven then? If
You
you're
don't
Baptist?
have to. For baptism, that is the belief in heaven. There's not a have to. If you don't believe it, you clearly aren't Baptist, and that's
there
fine.
you go.
Right.
So
But
you-
it's not a control system, right? You can believe in something without it having control over you. Believe in the afterlife, and that because why? Because it's comforting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Exactly. It's a natural human instinct to believe in that. It's a natural desire to want to be like, great.
I
But
think-
it's not controlling you. Is the thing.
do you think that the general sect of Baptists believe that? Or do you think just your experiences do?
No. Like if they're actual Baptists, yeah.
Okay. I could see that then. If that's the interpretation, and then others interpret. Because I do think that everyone in a religion has their different interpretations of that religion. And it's not like a broad sect of, or like a very distinct sect. You know, that's why there's different types of Catholic. That's where there's like Irish Catholic. That's why there's regular Catholic. And I'm not standing up for Catholicism. Like, I don't.
Yeah. No.
Catholicism is
Catholicism is
stupid.
weird.
It's freaking stupid. I'm not standing up for anything. I'm not standing up for religion. I'm not standing up for lack of religion or anything.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to understand. Hey,
What?
what?
Jake called me. I need to know if I'm
Why is he calling me? Anyways, okay. I gotta go to the vet, but this is great.
Okay.
Also, chat. This
Also
is,
pray for her. She likes the Gaga's new
Oh
song.
my god, what were y'all doing?
huh?
We were having a
It's like
discussion
we're having a
on
discussion.
Lady Gaga.
Yes. Yes.
What are your thoughts?
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Did you see this? Did you see
Being
this
an
video?
artiste, I love performance art. I love it, I love it, I love it.
You find it fascinating, right?
I find it very
No,
fascinating.
don't get into it. Don't get into
No,
it.
I find it fascinating too. I'm a theater kid. I like finding the meaning in
You
art.
and I are kindred spirits, yes.
I like finding the meaning in art.
Yes.
But
But what is the?
well, how do you interpret this video though?
I can't interpret it because I haven't watched it 10 times in a row. She just showed
You don't
me-
have to. The lyrics are very, very literal.
Well, I haven't listened to the song.
Okay,
because
here,
I was-
here you go. Look.
This is how it
Look,
started.
Tell me what you think the meaning is of this video. Okay.
Well, she's just paying the toll to the angel.
No, wait. What are the circles in the clouds?
I don't know. I haven't passed away yet, Kate. So I
You don't
wouldn't
have
know.
to. You don't have to. What has been coming out lately? Trending lately?
Airplanes.
No. Look at these.
Do religious people believe in UFOs?
I
No.
know.
No.
Did you grow up Christian or did you grow up Catholic?
Baptist.
Baptist.
Oh, different feel.
See? Exactly.
No,
She said-
Catholics are different.
Yeah, we all hate Catholics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Catholics are cultists.
What are your parents' religion?
My parents?
Yeah. None?
No, Catholic. I was raised Catholic by them
Oh,
because in the
sorry.
Philippines, like we're the only country like in Asia that's like predominantly like.
Yeah, Catholic is the most popular version of Christianity because they've
Okay,
crusaded and they control people.
It's
This is-
very
this is-
ritualistic.
It is. See?
This is
That's
what,
what I'm saying.
This is what the end came for. Kate says that Baptist is not a religion, and that there's no control in religion or in Baptist. There's zero control at all.
That's right.
Yes.
Correct. See?
Can you say that about other religions?
I don't know. My brain is so
It's
frazzled.
okay, it's
I'm
okay.
getting thrown like little
Off the
things
top
to
of
do.
her mind, no. Which proves my point.
So, do you think going on a mission trip?
It depends on what sect of Christianity.
In general,
Depends
mission
on-
trips are always trying to indoctrinate people.
Depends on what sect of Christianity, though, because
So you think of so
because they all go on mission trips.
Baptists go on mission trips to say, hey, the rapture is coming.
Sorry.
The rapture is
No
coming.
shade.
You can believe it or not. I'm here to just, if you want to believe,
No, not that it's coming. Not necessarily coming anytime soon, right? We don't know when
Right.
it comes. Just
do you
that
think there's a sense of fear or control in someone saying that to someone
they
else?
don't even say that the rapture is coming. Really, they just say Jesus died for your sins. That's the main
In
point
a
of
southern
baptism.
accent, nonetheless. Jesus, died
Don't
for
bring
your
up
sins.
don't bring up Southern
No,
Baptists.
that's the accent's Joel Osteen. That's evangelical. That's evangelical.
Okay, I'm saying if someone comes to you and they're like, my religion is Baptist, Jesus died for your sins, I'm just telling you, I'm warning you. Is there fear in that or is there control in that?
I think it's like a mix of both, but
But
if
it
someone
is
told
both.
me that, I'll be like,
But what is the
okay.
control aspect? What are they?
The control is you're trying to.
They're controlling the fear. The
Yes.
fear in the heart.
That's what
But-
I'm trying to say.
But what are they? No, but that's Catholic, right? They control your
No,
fear.
this is what you described. I literally described to her
That's
what
not
you described
controlling
to
the
me.
fear because, like, in baptism there is no fear.
But you're saying Jesus died for your sins. You can believe that. I'm trying to warn you. Those were your words. That I'm trying
Right.
to warn you. Warning is a fear.
Warning is that there's like potentially like bad shit.
So what are you trying to convince her?
But
Are
that's
you-
like a tornado siren, though. It warns
No,
you.
you can't use the tornado siren because that's science.
No. I mean the concept of alarming a community,
Alarming of
a sect
of
of
what?
people that danger is coming. That's the point of a siren.
danger, fear.
But I mean, they're not trying to control you, though.
Where's
right?
that emotional
there's
wheel?
No, they like
there's
control you
control
as in
in
like
fear.
make you follow them
I'm not
and do
telling- I'm
stuff
not
and give
saying that.
money and like.
I'm
you know
not
what I
saying
mean?
that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the control of the fear.
You're thinking influence is the word you're looking for. Control and influence are very different.
They're
Yes,
not that different.
they are. I'm an influencer, but I don't control
Not in
people.
religion. Not in religion.
That's what I'm saying.
There's a lot to
Baptism-
think
that's why I
about.
said baptism is not a religion.
So Baptist isn't religion. News to me.
It's a faith. But it's spirituality, but it's not a religion. In
Religion,
the sense
faith,
that
and
you have to
spirituality are
control
all
people.
three very different, though.
Exactly.
So
Like,
you
like
just
you can
said
have,
Baptist-
like you can believe in the spirit of the message, right?
Which could be anything.
Spirituality does not mean like contacting spirits. So
No,
it
I
depends,
never
like,
said that, no.
Yeah.
Are you thinking of what you to that? Are you going to that? Oh, I mean, I was considering considering the job today, but I'd have to put all the
Alright. I'll see you later.
See ya.
Religion, control, and fear.
There's a lot of
I mean, that's true. That's why religion is bad.
Visions. These are
Why religion is bad.
people endure? Will they inherit?
What did Baby say? Exactly what Baby gets. It's like don't touch the hot stove is trying to control it. Exactly. It's just a friendly warning. Like, hey, I'm worried about you. But ultimately, you know, if you want to touch a stove and burn yourself, can't stop it. I'm just a warning label. Now, the alternative, Catholicism would be like, or like a religion that tries to control you, would be like, don't touch the hot stove, and you do it and they kill you. Like, I'm going to cut off your hands so you can't do that. Like, something like that. Like, that's control, okay? That's
The new world that God has in store? And why is faithfulness to Jesus described as conquering? The rest of the book is John's answer. After this, John has a vision of God's heavenly throne room, and he describes it with imagery drawn from many Old Testament prophets. Surrounding God are creatures and elders that represent all creation and human nation, and they're giving honor and allegiance to the one true Creator God who is holy, holy, holy. In God's hand is a scroll that's closed up with 7 wax seals. It
Let me restart this,
symbolizes
because
the
now we've gotten so much
book he has
conversation on. Okay.
The book of the Revelation of Jesus. The author of this book, which is not called Revelations, by the way, is named at the beginning. It was written by John, which could refer to the beloved disciple who wrote the Gospel and the letters of John, or it could be a different
There's too much
John,
word.
a messianic
I
Jewish
can't have
prophet
double
who
words.
traveled about and taught in the early church. Whichever John it was, he makes clear in the opening paragraph what kind of book he has written. He calls it, first of all, a revelation. Or
Princess! Calm yourself. Thank you.
Apocalypse. The Greek word is apocalypsis, and it refers to a type of literature very familiar to John's readers from the Hebrew Scriptures and from other popular Jewish texts. Apocalypse recounted a prophet's symbolic dreams and visions that revealed God's heavenly perspective on history and current events, so that the present
Yeah,
could
I
be
feel like
viewed in light
I should have explained it. Like, I think baptism is more of like, y'all seen this shit? Shit's whack.
of history's final outcome. And John says this apocalypse is a prophecy,
Y'all
which
seen
means
this
it's a
shit?
word from God spoken through a prophet to God's people, usually to warn or comfort them in a time of crisis. By calling this book a prophecy, John's saying that it stands in the tradition of the biblical prophets and is bringing their message to a climax. And this apocalyptic prophecy was sent to real people that John knew. The book opens and closes as a circular letter that was sent to 7 churches in the ancient Roman province of Asia. Now, 7 is a meaningful number for John. It's a symbol of completeness based on the 7-day Sabbath cycle in the Old Testament. And John has woven 7s into every single part of this book. Now, with this opening, John has given us clear guidance about how he wants us to understand this book. Jewish apocalypse is communicated through symbolic imagery and numbers. It is not a secret predictive code about the timing of the end of the world. Rather, John is constantly using these symbols that are drawn from the Old Testament, and he expects his readers to go discover what the symbols mean by looking up the text he's alluding to. Also, the fact that it's a letter means that John is actually addressing the situation of these first century churches. And so while this book has much to say to Christians of later generations, the book's meaning must first be anchored in the historical context of John's time, place, and audience. Which brings us into the book's first section, Jesus' message to the 7 churches. John was exiled on the island of Patmos, and he saw a vision of the risen Jesus exalted as King of the world. And he was standing among 7 burning lights. And John's told this is a symbol of the 7 churches in Asia Minor that's been adapted from the book of the prophet Zechariah. And Jesus starts addressing the specific problems that face each church. Some were apathetic due to wealth and affluence. Others were morally compromised. Their people were still eating ritual meals and sleeping around in pagan temples. But others among the churches remained faithful to Jesus, and they were suffering harassment and even violent persecution. And Jesus warns that things are going to get worse. A tribulation is upon the churches that will force them to choose between compromise or faithfulness. By John's day, the murder of Christians by the Roman Emperor Nero was past, and the persecution of Christians by Emperor Domitian was likely underway. And so the temptation was to deny Jesus, either to avoid persecution or simply to join the spirit of the Roman age. And Jesus calls them to faithfulness so that they can overcome, or literally conquer. And Jesus promises a reward for everyone in these churches who does conquer. Each reward is drawn directly from the book's final vision about the marriage of heaven and earth. And so this opening section, it sets up the main plot tension that will drive the storyline in this book. Will Jesus' people endure? Will they inherit the new world that God has in store? And why is faithfulness to Jesus described as conquering? The rest of the book is John's answer. After this, John has a vision of God's heavenly throne room, and he describes it with imagery drawn from many Old Testament prophets. Surrounding God are creatures and elders that represent all creation and human nations, and they're giving honor and allegiance to the one true creator God who is holy, holy, holy. In God's hand is a scroll that's closed up with 7 wax seals. It symbolizes the message of the Old Testament prophets and the sealed scroll of Daniel's visions. These are all about how God's kingdom will come here fully on earth as in heaven. But it turns out no one is able to open the scroll until John hears of someone who can. It's the Lion from the tribe of Judah and the root of David. He can open it. These are classic Old Testament descriptions of the Messianic king who would bring God's kingdom through military conquest. Now, that's what John hears. But then what he turns and sees is not an aggressive lion king, but a sacrificed bloody lamb who's alive, standing there, and ready to open the scroll. Now, this symbol of Jesus as the slain lamb, this is crucially important for understanding the book. John's saying that the Old Testament promise of God's future victorious...
Just want to open a new tab. Someone wants me to look at... Ugh! Away, heathen! Is, this shit's whack, though. Like, she's crazy. Let's see. The godson thing. No, the more you are like, fear, like holding the cross and shit, this shit ain't gonna save you, bro. That's like the Catholicism cult shit. It's like the fear mongering. So I'm not actually like, oh my god, gotta get it off me. It's just like, y'all crazy. Y'all whack. Let's see. Okay. I'll watch that after.
His kingdom was inaugurated through the crucified Messiah. Jesus overcame his enemies by dying for them as the true Passover lamb so that they could be redeemed. Because of the resurrection, Jesus' death on the cross was not a defeat. It was his enthronement. It was the way he conquered evil. And so this vision concludes with the lamb alongside the one sitting on the throne, and together they are worshipped as the one true creator and redeemer, and the slain lamb begins to open the scroll. It's a symbol of his divine authority to guide history to its conclusion. Which brings us to the next section of the book, the 3 cycles.
She said that's like saying don't touch the stove.
Yeah, exactly.
Except the consequence is you not getting into heaven. It's not saying like...
No, you already have that by default, though.
Well, it's not
if you don't believe in heaven, you're not going there anyways. There's no...
Well, it's saying like the consequences of your action is like you did bad in the eyes of religion.
No, we're not saying you did bad.
So what's the consequence of their action of not...
Well, there is no consequence. Just
Oh,
you
okay,
just
cool
don't
then.
get an upside.
Well, that's fine.
Yeah, exactly. There's no consequence because there's just no upside. So it's all good, I guess. I mean, like
Makes
we're not
perfect
gonna
sense to me.
enact consequences on you.
Well, that's fine. Interesting.
Yeah. That's what I was trying to tell you. It's like there's no control. We're not gonna do anything to you. It's not like the Catholics where they're like, believe this or I'm gonna literally crusade and
Bro,
kill
we
you.
both hate the Catholics. You don't have to convince me of that.
It's not like we're gonna like, slay your people because you didn't believe. You know what I mean?
You're not bad unless you want to be. I'm one of the best people in the whole world, actually.
Remember, she rated high on the narcissism scale in her personality test. And narcissism is often a trait people will develop because they cope with anxiety and fear.
That's true.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to live in the world and love my pets and my family. Very interesting.
Well, that's good. Keep doing that.
Cycles of 7. 7 seals, 7 trumpets, and 7 bowls. And each cycle depicts God's kingdom and justice.
Oh, can you do this for me, I guess? Take my phone over there and try to figure out the Cash App tax stuff. Or whatever, I don't know.
Can I do this when I get back from the vet?
Oh, right, you're going to the vet.
Yeah. I can
Um,
go ask. You should get an email because I've been getting the emails from it.
I don't know. You mean like a total yearly report thing?
Yeah, it's specifically about the taxes.
Okay, I will take a look.
Okay, if not, I'll be back in the
All right. I'm just trying to do makeup. I haven't gotten to yet. It's funny how like I said the same thing as I did earlier, and now she's like, "Oh, well, that's fine." It's like you weren't listening before then. Like, okay. It is what it is, indeed. That's the nature of the debate. You want to win it, I'll listen to the other side. Yeah, I think that's where Baptist is different. Because, like, if you don't believe us, we're just like, okay. I mean, if you keep asking questions, we'll answer you. But at the end of the day, if you don't believe, we're like, oh. Okay. Like, there's no desire to win. Oh, I'm not seeing an email from Cash App. Oh, wait. Well, there's a file for free stuff, but that's not like a total. Documents. Okay. Let me see. Trying to get Cash App stuff. Hold on. I'll have to send it to my accountant. Oh. Hey. You're alright. Eh. I wish it would just tell me like at the top. If I could just sort it through paid to instead of received from. Maybe it can. Hold on. Is there a way to sort it? I wish there was a better way. I wish I could sort my activity by money going out only. Yeah. It's annoying that I have to like go through one by one and like screenshot it. Because they don't have a sorting system. Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Wait. Which other... Sorry, I'm trying to do this for my account because they're in the office right now. I hate it. So then I'll let you look at August. Okay. How much was in August? That's it. All that August. Luckily, it's usually just like 1 or 2 transactions a month on the month that I spent money. I just have to. The annoying part is just scrolling through all the transactions, like from my donations and stuff. And just like I have to like look for like the only thing different is they look the same. Just one has like a plus meaning it came in, and the other doesn't, which means the money I spent. So I just have to manually sift through it, which is annoying. Then I have to compare it to the statement that says how much money I spent that month to make sure I got all those individual transactions. June. It's okay, baby. I don't like all the car sounds. Oh my goodness. Noxy Woxy. So there's also April. Look for April's expenditures. Oh, it's usually always just my hair. My hair! Okay, last screenshots. Okay.
As coming here on earth as in heaven. Now, some people think that the 3 sets of 7 divine judgments represent a literal, linear sequence of events that either happened in the past, or could be happening now, or are yet to happen in the future when Jesus returns. But notice how John has woven all the 7s together. So the final 7 bowls come out of the 7th trumpet and the 7th seal. And the 7 trumpets emerge from the 7th seal. They're like nesting dolls. Each 7th contains the next 7. Also notice how each of the series of 7 culminates in the final judgment, and they have matching conclusions. So it's more likely that John is using each set of 7 to depict the same period of time between Jesus' resurrection and future return from 3 different perspectives. So the slain lamb begins to open the scroll's first 4 seals, and John sees 4 horsemen. It's an image from the book of Zechariah chapter 1, and they symbolize times of war, conquest, famine, and death. In other words, a tragically average day in human history. Then the 5th seal depicts the murdered Christian martyrs before God's heavenly throne, and the cry of their innocent blood rises up before God like smoke from the altar of incense. And they're told to rest, because more Christians are yet to die. We're not told why, but we are told that it won't last forever. The 6th seal is God's ultimate response to their cry.
In the Bible, Christians are dying. In Catholicism, Christians are killing. Doesn't seem very Christian-like, does it?
Brings the great day of the Lord that was described in Isaiah and Joel, and the people of the earth cry out, "Who is able to stand?" And then all of a sudden, John pauses the action with an intermission to answer that question. John sees an angel with a signet ring coming to place a mark of protection on God's servants who are enduring all this hardship. And he hears the number of those who are sealed, 144,000. It's a military census, like the one in the book of Numbers, chapter 1. There are 12,000 from each of the 12 tribes of Israel. Now, pay attention. The number of this army is what John heard, just like he heard about the conquering Lion of Judah. But in both cases, what he then turned and saw was the surprising fulfillment of those military images in Jesus, the slain Lamb. So when he sees this messianic army of God's kingdom, it's made up of people from all nations, fulfilling God's ancient promise to Abraham. It's this multi-ethnic army of the Lamb who can stand before God.
Want to see a horror movie with a Baptist versus demon? It's always Catholic. See? Because that cross don't protect you. If you're putting your faith in any object, that it'll protect you, worshiping it, holding on to it, doing all these rituals and trying to cleanse yourself, that means that you're very paranoid, which is what demonic possession preys on. That's what I was kind of saying the other day. Like, notice how all the people in horror movies, they're all anxious and fearful. And that's how they get haunted.
Been redeemed by the Lamb.
Never seen a happy,
And now
confident
they are called
person
to
in a horror
conquer,
movie.
Not by killing their enemies, but by suffering and bearing witness just like the Lamb. After this, the 7th and final seal is broken. But before the scroll is opened, the 7 warning trumpets emerge and fire is taken from the incense altar. It symbolizes the cry of the...
Catholics have the Pope Super Saiyan. Yeah, the South American. In Italy, of all places.
martyrs, and it's cast onto the earth, bringing the day of the Lord to its completion. Now, with the 7 trumpets, John backs up and he retells the story again, this time with images from the Exodus story. So the first 5 trumpet blasts replay the plagues sent upon Egypt, and then the 6th trumpet releases the 4 horsemen that came from the first 4 seals. But then John tells us that despite all these plagues, the nations did not repent, just like Pharaoh didn't in the Exodus story. So it seems that God's judgment alone will not bring people to humble repentance before him. Then John pauses the action again with another intermission. An angel brings the unsealed scroll that was opened by the Lamb. And just like Ezekiel, John is told to eat the scroll and then proclaim its message to the nations. Finally, the Lamb scroll is open, and now we will discuss...
Rip bunnies, the vet that was supposed to spay them was sick. Man, I can never get my fucking girl bunnies spayed, I swear. Every time I try, it's always like, oh, there was an emergency animal that came in, and oh, the doctor was sick. I think the doctor, not even the same doctor, has been sick twice. What are the odds? I have to go to the bathroom. Burp camera time.